So what is currently happening is that you having two separate battle theatres. One is the Gaza battle theatre, the other is the Iran-Pakistan battle theatre on the border. The current retaliation that Iran has undertaken and Pakistan is said to have retaliated back is basically a fallout of the Kerman bombing. Given the domestic pressure within Pakistan and the election next month, Pakistanis were forced to retaliate. I am not too sure how much of retaliation had taken place. The other retaliation is a message to the Israelis and the Americans that Iran is not going to take things lightly. I don't think so that Iranians are going to back down given the nature of the beast, so to speak. And so in the coming days, you will see more action. Unfortunately, you will see more bloodshed. India is in a position where it can talk to various people to come on a ground where peace can be given a chance.
The biggest fear that the world had with regard to the Gaza war is coming true. The conflict is escalating, engulfing not just the entire Middle East, but the entire world. And this is now visible in Pakistan's retaliatory strikes against Iran after Iran attacked, territories, Pakistani territory, inside Pakistani territories, and said that they had attacked some terrorist groups which had obviously provoked within Iranian territory. Now, all of this is becoming a big, flashpoint, not just, and there are fears now that the entire world is going to be engulfed in this. Latest, of course, being Iran dragging down and attacking inside three Muslim nations, which is Pakistan, Iraq, and Syria. I have with me Shishir Gupta, Hindustan Times executive editor. Shishir, your view on what's going on?
Namaskar. Aditi, you are right when you say that the war is escalating, and it's quite evident that you'll have a horizontal spread of conflagration, but the timing we are not very clear on. So what is currently happening is that you having two separate battle theatres. One is the Gaza battle theatre, the other is the Iran-Pakistan battle theatre on the border. Now, there are two events which are actually sort of provoking this entire conflagration. First was the Hamas attack on October 7 against Israel in South Israel. The second was the twin bombing at Kerman on January 3rd in Iran, which killed 94 people and injured more than 284. Now, the current retaliation that Iran has undertaken and Pakistan is said to have retaliated back is basically a fallout of the Kerman bombing. Now, what is happening is that the Iranians are currently under huge pressure and they have decided to retaliate it. So they did retaliation at three places. One was in North Syria, because ISIS had claimed the attack in Kerman. Second one was in Erbil, where they say that it was a Mossad headquarter. Fact is that it was a message to Israel, who seemed to be provoking Iran on its borders. And the third one was on Pakistan, where this group, Jaish al-Adil, has been launching cross-border raids into Sistan-Baluchistan province of Iran over the past many years. Now, this attack, the latest attack, comes basically, it is quite evident to say that the Pakistanis did not know that it was coming. But now that the attack came, given the domestic pressure within Pakistan and the election next month, Pakistanis were forced to retaliate. I am not too sure how much of retaliation had taken place. So the Iranians launched loiter ammunition on Panjgur village and on Turbat village across the border. The Pakistanis have said to have retaliated a place called Sarwan against what they call the Baluchi fighters. So this is one part of the thing. The other retaliation is a message to the Israelis and the Americans that Iran is not going to take things lightly. So this is what is the current status scenario that is happening, and it is quite a deadly scenario that is being played out right now, and it will have its ramifications.
You talked about the repercussions, and the US is unlikely to sit quiet at this more dangerous, provocations or conflagrations coming from the Iranian side. What do you think? How do you think the White House is going to react to this?
See, the White House has already retaliated last night when they launched missiles against the Houthi-held defenses in South Yemen. So, White House will continue to retaliate, but there are many layers within layers in this game. Now, let me tell you, when the Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar went to Iran, he apparently was told that we have little control over Houthis. They had still little control over Hamas, the Iranians said. But the fact remains is that the Houthis have top of the line loiter ammunition, which couldn't have been given but anybody else than Iran. The Hamas attack also came because it had the Iranian support. So the Iranians always deny it, but everybody else says, listen, these guys are actually the main player behind the show. So there will be retaliation, and this retaliation, it will continue, and it's over a period of time. Now, the Houthis are continuing to fire at the commercial shipping. The Israelis are still to get full control of Gaza. The Hamas is still retaliating. And the new dimension is this Pakistan-Iran thing. So, sum and substance of the entire thing is, these are very bad days for the world, and this whole conflagration seems to be growing at an unintended pace.
India has taken a very nuanced and studied stand on this strike by Iran inside Pakistan, and India said everybody has the right to self-defense and defend defend against terrorists. And they had sort of given a very, very wise statement had been put out by the External Affairs Ministry. How do you see this impacting India? Because now the Middle Eastern war is literally at India's doorsteps.
You see, what is happening is that while the reason why Iran actually went into Pakistan will be explained when the Iranian NSA is said to be visiting India either later this month or early next month. But the fact remains is that Iran was at the receiving end from this group called Jaish al-Adil, because even in 2013 they had actually abducted Iranian revolutionary guards from across the border raids. Then they had actually killed a lot of people on January 10th across the border raids again. So Iranians had to retaliate, and these cross-border terrorism, the Indian position is very clear on that. Now, as far as India goes, India currently is talking to virtually everybody. India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin. S. Jaishankar went and met the Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Mohammed bin Zayed of UAE. India has been talking to other players in the Middle East, and India is in a position where it can talk to various people to come on a ground where peace can be given a chance. So in that way, the Indian position is very clear. The Indian position against terrorism was defined even during the Hamas attack on October 7, where India actually condemned the attack, the terrorist attack. Similarly, when Iran did this, India defended that because India believes that nobody should take cross-border terrorism lying down.
Let's talk about the problems between Iran and Pakistan, because I don't think we've seen the last of it. This whole problems. It's brought to the forefront the problems between Iran and Pakistan. First, Iran strikes inside Pakistan, then Pakistan's retaliatory strikes, both saying that civilians were killed on both sides. Both the countries calling each other liars in public view. What exactly is the whole genesis of this entire Baloch militancy and the conflict between Iran and Pakistan?
You see, it goes like this way. This group called Jaish al-Adil is an anti-Shia group, and this group was actually came into form in 2012, and after it morphed from a previous group called Jundullah. Now these groups are basically anti-Shia groups, and they are over the years were used by the Americans to finger Iran, or at least that's what the Iranians believe. Now, the Baluchistan Liberation Army or the Baluchistan Freedom Fighters are said to be based across the border in Iran. So, the two sides have been accusing each other of fomenting terror on the opposite side. So, but in this case, what has happened is that Iran, obviously under very serious pressure, first the Kerman bombing, Hamas attack, Gaza war, Hezbollah attack, Houthi, Kaitab Hezbollah, so it decided to actually strike out. And in this particular thing, they decided to strike out and once for all take out the Jaish al-Adil positions near the border. That's what they have done. Now, as far as Pakistan is concerned, Pakistan itself is not in a very good position on this, because Pakistan has a running tiff with India. Pakistan has a running tiff with Afghanistan. Now Pakistan has a running tiff with Iran also. So Pakistan itself cannot afford to open any other fronts. The only other front that is left is the Makran coast, or can go back to the fatherly state called China. But the fact is, it is for Pakistan in this to pipe down and control these groups, which are actually striking across the border into Iran. And for Iran, it is very important that Iran actually does not take any further steps. Otherwise, this will lead to horizontal escalation, and you are looking at a very serious problems within the Middle East region, where the conflagration could spread at any time.
And absolutely right. And you were right when you said that Pakistan can ill afford it, because given their social, economic as well as political upheavals that they are facing right now, they can ill afford to open another front, given that they already have an ongoing battle going on with the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, with the Islamic State Khorasan, and of course there is also the problems with the Afghan Taliban that they are facing right now. But tell me, you're saying Pakistan should pipe down, Iran should not sort of escalate this any further. They've showcased, they flexed their muscles with regard to the various attacks. So that's your advice to the respective countries. But what do you think is likely to happen on the ground?
I think my advice will not work, because Iranians are in no mood to take it down. They think they're under very serious threat from both Israel as well as US, and so they will keep on retaliating. The Houthis are in no mood to settle down, because till such time the war in Gaza continues, the Houthis will continue to strike commercial shipping in Red Sea as well as Bab al-Mandab. That will create a whole lot of other issues. So this basically, you are actually seeing a series of escalatory steps which are not looking good at all for the Middle East. And I don't think so that Iranians are going to back down, given the nature of the beast, so to speak. And so in the coming days, you will see more action. Unfortunately, you will see more bloodshed, unfortunately. And it will definitely require a whole lot of global effort to actually bring the players onto the negotiating table.
All right. So you're seeing a little more, not just a small little, but a whole lot of turmoil in the Middle East, now extending almost to India's borders. And of course, the Indian side having a role to play as well in sort of quietening down the tensions between all the parties. But thank you so much, Shishir, for all that perspective. Thank you, viewers, for watching this broadcast. Stay tuned to Hindustan Times Point Blank for the latest.